it's important to pair firmness in taking out the terrorists, those who wish or intent on murder, and then at the same time to then help those who remain, which is also what happened in Germany and Japan.
Exactly right.
Well, so that was Elon Musk today in a live stream chat with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the billionaire entrepreneur, on an apology tour of sorts after facing backlash and accusations of anti-Semitism on his social media platform X. Musk touring a rural village near the Gaza border that was attacked by Hamas militants on October 7th. Musk and Netanyahu also visiting some of the victims' families, including those of the former hostage 4-year-old Abigail, who was released on Sunday. Now, Musk facing some backlash here after he called a post on X repeating a common conspiracy theory about Jewish people. Musk called it the actual truth, and in that post prompted some major advertisers to pause their ads on X. And also today, the mayor of Paris deciding to quit the platform, which she called a gigantic global sewer. So let's bring back our panel here. Mike, LZ, Daryl, and Elizabeth, thanks for sticking with us, everybody. So, Mike, clearly, we just talked about this. Hamas is using social media for propaganda. We've seen people and companies quitting X, like the mayor that we just talked about. So is X losing any of its power in the social media space?
That's a good question when you ask the word power in terms of who's gaining and who's losing. Right. Elon Musk has always wanted, and this was his intent on purchasing X, to be this public town square where ideas and thoughts could flow freely without respect to the First Amendment and freedom of speech. Yes, you have freedom of speech, but there are consequences for your freedom of speech when your freedom of speech causes harm. And what we saw was that today when he landed, he said a quote on X where he says, quote, "Action speaks louder than words." For me, this is just a crisis management stunt, crisis management 101. We can see clearly the reason why that he's doing it is to really shore up advertisers. If action speaks louder than words, I would actually challenge Elon Musk to really reevaluate and to bring back the content moderation department in full on X. Upon Elon Musk purchasing X, hate speech increased after his purchase as a result of him letting go of the content moderation. That's how you really address anti-Semitism and other hate speech, by actually putting the content moderation back in place to create better safety guidelines for the community.
Yeah, and LZ, what's your response to what Mike just said? I mean, there's some advertisers, as we know, they've pulled their business from X. Was this trip sort of a dollars and cents move from Musk?
Well, absolutely, but then it's not just about X's dollars and cents move going forward. Remember, this is a man who's perpetually trying to come up with the next great big thing, and so the partners that he has with X may be partners for future ventures, and so he's just doing the groundwork both now as well as in the future. I would say, though, that I'm really disappointed that he's doing this publicity stunt, because as someone who grew up in South Africa during the apartheid for the first 17 years of his life, and I'm not suggesting that he is, subscribed to that philosophy, but what I am saying is he's very much aware of the power of propaganda. He knows what misinformation can do and how to control people, because that's what the apartheid government in South Africa did. And I'm going to assume, since he hasn't been back there much since he was 17, he's very much aware of how propaganda was used to keep up bad information and erect an awful government.
Certainly. And Daryl, look, Musk is not only important because of his social media company and his other adventures, but his internet service, Starlink, which he could deploy in Gaza for aid agencies. Do you think that could end up being a vulnerability?
Absolutely. The IDF has absolutely already come out and said that not without coordinating through the Israeli government. So they probably see it as a Hamas way of circumventing being able to communicate with their own people. So, yes.
And that's scary to think about. And Elizabeth, to you, the U.S. government has renounced his comments as anti-Semitic, but at the same time, the government has all these contracts with his companies like SpaceX.
Well, and this is really a predicament, Kayla. On the one hand, you have the White House calling Elon Musk's comments abhorrent, saying that it's completely unacceptable to make anti-Semitic references anywhere, anytime. But then on the other hand, you have the federal government in business with Elon Musk companies like Starlink and SpaceX. And frankly, they rely very heavily on the services that Elon Musk does. And it's something we've asked the White House about. They've said, it would be foolish not to walk away from innovation in the private sector from companies like Elon Musk. So they're trying to kind of have it both ways here, and working with Elon Musk companies, acknowledging that they do provide services that a lot of other companies at this point in time do not have the technology to provide, while also trying to distance themselves from Elon Musk personally.
Right, and Daryl, I mean, can you bounce off that, what Elizabeth is saying there? I mean, this really is a predicament for the government.
It really is a predicament. It started under the Ukraine, of course, and is now extended into the United Nations efforts in the Gaza Strip. So having spent my agency career on the African continent, there were 46 coups, there were probably half dozen neos or evacuations of people. Americans never leave anyone behind. Americans always try to figure out the best way to get everybody out, and they use whatever technology they can use, even people who might be in disagreement with the U.S. government.
All right. Well,
Kate,
Mike LZ. Yeah, please, Mike, go ahead.
I was going to add in really what Elizabeth was saying in terms of the federal government. I think this is going to actually be the burden of the private sector. And if people who actually are in the world of activism and who see challenges, problems with this, put the pressure on corporations in order to remove their ads, I think that is going to be the only pressure that will cause Elon to move.
And by the way, on this, we've asked the White House if they get rid of their X accounts, like the official accounts, and they said nothing to announce. But on that same day, the president did launch a Threads account. So, you know, it's always worth asking the questions, I guess.
I was going to add, like, this is something the everyday person can just do on themselves. They don't need a coordinated attack to go through corporate America to boycott. If you're upset about what Elon Musk is doing, just get off of X.
Right? You take a little personal responsibility. You have your own power, right? I like that. Mike, LZ, Daryl, and Elizabeth, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.